Hey everybody, Garcia here, and today I'm taking a look at a new expansion for Monolith Arena. This is Academics. In this box, the players are going to get one new faction for the game, the Academics. This is going to increase the total from 4 in the original core game to 5 with this one, giving you, of course, many more matchups, more abilities, new concepts included in here. This army is going to bring a couple of new things to the table, but the main twist being that they are magicians, and they are going to be able to soup up their units on the board by mana charging them, giving them new powers, new strengths, new speeds, all sorts of things, if they are juiced up. So that's the main idea. We're going to go ahead and take a look at what the army features. I'm not going to be showing you how to play the original Monolith Arena, but I have done a review of that game if you want to check that out first, figure out how the game works, and then if you're curious about the expansion, you can check out this video. If you know the game already, you just want to know if this is something you'd like to pick up, then you're in the right place. Let's go ahead and dig into it. The main concept of the Academics is that they have access to magic. And that's going to come into play through these mana runes over here, these tokens. Your units, your heroes and your runes, when they come onto the board, they're going to have some basic powers. But if they are mana charged, they are going to gain new abilities, more speed, more hitting power, all sorts of things. So that's what the main twist here is. You've got your banner here, which slows down the enemies all around your banner. And then most of the action tiles are going to not just trigger whatever they do, but possibly also give you one of those mana charges. So with this, you could trigger a battle and mana charge one of your units on the board. With this one, for example, you can move somebody and charge, right? You've got this one here that gives you an either-or power. You can either do the fire concoction there and hurt some things on the board, or get a mana charge. And they all pretty much work that way. That's what all of these are going to feature. You're also going to have this symbol here. This power means your opponent for one round cannot add units to the board. So you could trigger that instead of the mana charge. It's up to you. Now let's take a look at the units now that you understand the main idea here. These all have some sort of mana charge ability. So for example, this character here works at speed 2, and they have a single distance fire going out that way right now. But if they are mana charged, then the power going out is strength 3, as you see there. And it's sort of color-coded to have that blue flame to it. You're going to see the same thing on this one. This one is going to have melee attacks that go from strength 1 to strength 3 in 2 directions. You are going to have even runes that do this. So this rune, for example, anyone it's connected to, your enemies, their speed will drop down to 0. If this is mana charged, it also gains a shield. So it'll have to be hit twice to be destroyed. That's good. You've got characters that gain new speeds as well. So this character here is going to gain a new direction of fire, but also it will activate at speed 3 and speed 2 if it's mana charged. If it's not, just speed 2. So you want to fire these up. You know, you want to get that. This one gains mobility. At if it's mana charged, it's got some shields, so some melee attacks, but it'll be able to move around. You've got more of these runes that are going to gain, in this case, new chains if it is mana charged. And this power is interesting. You'll put this token into play on an opponent's piece that is linked to this one. You'll be able to take it over, rotate that, and it will now work for you until it's eliminated from the board, and then you'll take this back. Or this one is eliminated from the board. There's also this one that has some netting abilities, and if you charge it up, it's going to have that teleport ability, which means you can teleport it somewhere else on the board and rotate it. So very powerful turning that on. And there's even one character here that has a healing ability. That is a new ability in the game that if you point that at one of your own tiles, you will be able to heal it for 1. If you mana charge this, it gains mobility, and it will go off at speeds 2 and 1. So there you go. That is several of the different things you are going to see in the game, and it should give you an idea of how to play this. You want to be, the faction itself might be a little bit weak, and then the longer the game goes on, the more you are able to trigger these powers and take over your opponents, heal, things like that, the more powerful you're going to become, the more you're going to turn that tide. And while your opponent's characters are dying off, yours are sticking around and just getting bigger and better and stronger. So there you go. That's the idea of the academics. It's going to, of course, come with one of these player aids, just like the ones in the original box. The corners on this were squared. I did round them off myself, but it's a very minor thing. This way they match the ones in the core box, but really not a big deal. And you're going to have a little flavor as well over here and a breakdown of all the abilities, what you can expect to see, all of that stuff. Really well done, and these are fantastic. So there you go. That is the academics. Let's go back up top. Let me tell you what I think of the faction. All right, that is the academics. Let's talk about this. I like a lot about this, and there's very little I don't like. I think it's a great army to bring out as an expansion. It's going to have a hair more complexity than the ones included in the original core game, but the way that complexity is handled, I think, is commendable. It's really well done. It's a very clean expansion for the most part. So, thematic ties, let's start there. I like having the world of Monolith Arena grow a little bit with this faction, and they don't seem out of place. I think this concept of magic wielding, sort of characters that get bigger if they are supercharged, it's a cool thing thematically. It works well. Again, I think it fits in the world ultimately, and that's what I want from more factions in this kind of game. The aesthetics, very nicely done. Clean icons. It's got a good reference aid. The whole thing fits right in. You probably wouldn't know this did not come out in the original core set unless someone pointed it out to you. So, very nicely done there. Replayability, that's great. Like I said, it's going to kick up the number of matchups that are possible. And they are a strong faction. They are going to be interesting to use in a fight, to fight against. So replayability gets a nice boost in the arm from having this included in your possibilities. Game length stays about the same. I always thought this game was short and kind of punchy. This is not going to change that. No problems there. The ease of play. All of the new tokens on the board, meaning every time somebody gets mana charge, you have to put a token on it to denote that. They obscure the tiles a little bit. I always found the little tokens that would go on top of units and runes to obscure things slightly, but it's not too problematic. You just have to make sure you're not covering up an essential icon. But, that's a minor nitpicky thing. Overall, everything looks good. I like the color coding between a regular built-in strength and whatever the supercharged strength is, with that blue hue to it that lets you know, hey, this is turned on if it's got this token on it. That works well. Lastly, tactics and strategy, luck, things like that. Feels about the same as the other ones, but again, you're going to have new possibilities at hand. This is, like I said, a strong army. They are going to be a contender for sure. They must be kept in check if you want to do well, because if they get off the ground and everything that's on the board is supercharged, they will be tough to take down. So you need to get right in their face, I think, and really keep them in check. I like that most of the time when they are to supercharge or mana charge one of their units, it also will trigger a fight. So you need to make sure that your opponent, if they are playing this, does not want to trigger a fight. You need to put something in place that if they trigger a fight, they will be hurt by, meaning they're less likely to do it. Because if they take one, they take the other. That's how most of the tiles that give them those mana charge tokens are going to work. That's interesting. That's a good choice. I like those two things tied together, making the player running this faction consider the possibilities. You don't always want to mana charge your creatures if it's going to lead to a fight that's going to hurt you more than your opponent. Really, really interesting stuff. So there you go. Overall, Great expansion here, folds right in, beautiful. New concepts, great look to the whole thing, nice theming. It's a pleasure to play this. So my bottom line is as follows. Great new army complements and enhances the base game with more choices and possibilities. This is going to get an 8.5 out of 10 from me. That means it's going to get a seal of excellence. And this game is excellent. The expansion, excellent as well. I certainly recommend it if you have not tried it. Get the base game, play that a little bit. Once you're ready for a little more and some new matchups, then Academics is going to be a fantastic addition. That's it for me, everybody. I'm Z Garcia. Thanks for checking this out. I'll see you on the next one.
Thanks so much for watching another Dice Tower video. If you enjoy our videos, subscribe to the channel for more fun, comprehensive board game coverage. Also, consider joining us at one of our events. Come to Dice Tower Retreat, a small, intimate gathering where gaming is king. Join us for Dice Tower Cruise, the largest board game cruise. Attend Dice Tower West in Las Vegas for gaming fun on the West Coast, or Dice Tower East in Orlando in sunny Florida. Dice Tower Conventions, the friendliest gaming conventions on Earth. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower.